but I think things are kind of opening up a little bit. I think last year was and to include this year, the most passports that were ever requested. I think the State Department reported that in the history. I can't remember the exact number. A lot of my content work when I'm actually in my apartment in Medellin, Colombia. What I mean by international job markets, for example, I work in the SATCOM industry. And there's SATCOM companies that are all over the world. I think I remember at one point in time I was working for a SATCOM company out of Doha, Qatar, and I got an opportunity, got an offer to go work for, I think it was Emerging Market Communications. They were based out of Abu Dhabi with the operations base in Barcelona as well. There's just so much global opportunity to experience, to have career, that it's really something to consider. You know, um, and like I said, for example, I live here in Tampa Bay, as I work my 9 to 5 day job. And then, when I'm traveling typically on the weekends, I can work my business, my LLC from, overseas in my apartment, from my apartment in Medellin, Colombia. All right. And, a considerable amount of money, but you start, you add up what you would spend over a typical weekend going to brunch and things like that. And then what you kind of come to realize is that, hey, I could take those same financial resources, and I can buy an inexpensive airline ticket. I can get a hotel that's affordable, and I can also experience, 5-star fine dining, in Latin America, because obviously it's fairly close to me. And it definitely is an option that you could consider, if you're living, here in Florida, for example. You're pretty much 2 to 3 hours away from almost every, country in Central America here. Right. And I think I've talked about it. For example, I live here in Florida, and I have an apartment here in Medellin. And I think that, the Medellin has been a really popular, I think I started going back in 2017, and of recent it's become very, very popular, over the last several years. And for good case, right? They call the city, it's the city of eternal spring. It's essentially 60 to 80 degrees year round. Kind of reminds me of a cross between Singapore and San Francisco, with its rolling hills and greenery. Then it's like the city was kind of built into nature, into a mountain, essentially. So it's just one of the things where you can, it's really a good bargain city with great infrastructure and beautiful people, and it's just a great place to be. And when you think about, globalization as a lifestyle, think about the services, right? What do you pay for a manicure, pedicure, for a teeth cleaning, for a haircut or a face shave, or to go to a fine dining restaurant here in the States, right? You probably pay somewhat a considerable amount, and that can add up. Once you kind of get on site in Central and South America, you can pay, what, $10 for a manicure pedicure is what I pay currently in Sabaneta and Medellin. You pay maybe, $30 for a teeth cleaning. A face shave is like $10, things like that. A fine dining Ruth Chris experience, for a couple, for 2 people, at different restaurants like Mamba Negra and Ritual and Andres Carnes is maybe 50 to $100 for 2 people. So you can kind of see how, and if you go even further than that, right? If you go to like a 3 or a 4-star restaurant, you're talking $30 to $40 for 2 people.